and we're over to me and Camilla, who's going to bring us home. You get your full 10 minutes and then we're going to finish on time. Okay, all good?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is May, and this is my co-founder Camilla, who's there on the side. And we're actually building Beta 100 for people like us. Okay, and people like you. I mean, both Camilla and I have successful careers, and we're at the stage of our lives now where we're wanting to step back from the corporate stage and search for more meaning, more passion. We've been working alongside founders over the last couple of years and, you know, seen them start their own businesses, and that experience has really ignited our own sort of entrepreneurial spirit, and it's taken us on this journey, which is Beta 100, where we want to bring our own idea to life, and having sort of witnessed and spoken to a lot of founders, we found, and being founders ourselves, what we've found is that getting the right people to help you execute against your idea is really one of the hardest challenges. And as many of us around this virtual room will know, and it can attest to, is that, you know, often when you're bootstrapping, you have to lean quite heavily on your own sort of personal resources, but also on your network. And, you know, your network can be fantastic, but actually, you know, what happens is that, you know, to get people to give their time beyond advice, and to get that consistent sort of professional support, you need to get to a point where you're actually helping, you know, recognize people that are doing the doing in a fair and transparent manner. Because often, you know, in the startup world, everything is quite informal. Relationships are sort of formed in a casual way through online or in real time. And, you know, when you get to a point where you're working with someone, and to get them to give more of their time, to talk about money is actually it can be quite awkward, both for the person who's contributing their time, but also for the founder. So, and, you know, Camilla's worked alongside various founders in terms of conversations around equity, and what we found is that, you know, a lot of founders are unaware of the various schemes that can be in place to, you know, reward people fairly. So what we find is that, you know, often either the founders are taken advantage of, you know, by giving away too much equity, or we have, you know, we've had conversations, for example, from people in the open source community who actually give a lot of their time, but they actually get very little, if anything, in return. So, you know, given, you know, we can see that there's a growing number of people wanting to choose, you know, choosing to start their own business, that this challenge around how to recognize and reward people is just going to get bigger and harder to solve. I mean, we can see already there's this intersection really in terms of the freelancer community, self-employed professionals, you know, tech entrepreneurs. I mean, Beta 100 sort of sits between these three markets, and we sort of I guess we're trying to bring those three worlds together. So our current platform, it's designed in the first instance to better understand the relationship between founders and the people to support them. So at the moment, what we've got is a situation where people can post a project. We can share those projects on social media and within our own network. People who are interested in those projects can register against them, and we set up a chemistry call. And if there is a really good chemistry and there's a match there, people are confirmed in the project, and those people can then start banking their time. And the whole idea around banking your time on the platform is that your contribution then is really transparent. And so at the stage when a startup is in a position where they are either generating revenue or they are raising money, then, you know, both parties can look back on the contributions to date and determine a value that can equate to either a cash bonus, or it could be a percentage in the company. So in terms of how we make money, our pricing model, which we've sort of tested offline, is that, you know, in the first instance, when a founder finds someone who is wanting to work with them and money does change hands, and albeit it might be at a discounted rate, that we would charge the founder a 5% finder's fee when the beta joins the project. And that 5% is based on the value of the project. And then if that beta then joins the team as a permanent employee, then there's an additional 5%, because we're assuming at that point, if you're bringing someone on board permanently and there is a formal remuneration taking place, then you're in a position to sort of pay. I guess in the early days, we're expecting that our partners are probably going to be the ones that are going to generate the most revenue for us, because partners can also come onto the platform and offer their products and services at a discounted rate. And so any arrangements via the platform, Beta 100 will get a 10% kickback. So we've only recently launched our platform over the last 2 weeks, and we've got 131 early adopters. We've got about 40 people onboarded so far, and 7 projects, live projects to date. Our goal is to hit 200 active users by the end of the year, and I think at this stage we're pretty reasonably confident that we're going to hit that mark. And so in terms of the future, I mean, this is something that both Camilla and I grapple with a little bit, because we can see that there are 2 ways that we could potentially evolve. There may be others, but we could become the one-stop shop for startups, and this is where we can increase, sort of partnerships with key players inside the ecosystem. We can just focus primarily on people who are wanting to start a business. Or we could also, which is where we're thinking we may sort of pivot towards, is more around the future of work. And this is where we sort of see everyone in the end, and maybe sooner than you think, being their own business, allowing people to manage effectively portfolio careers and find ways where they're actually generating revenue from multiple streams. In terms of what they do and how they spend their time and energy. So that's that. So yeah, in terms of our ask, I mean, we would love for you to join us on beta100.co if this story resonates, and we're obviously open to feedback as well, because we're continuing to evolve the platform and our proposition, and we're really keen to see where where people take us effectively. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, both of you. Could you stop sharing your screen for us? Just before we go to the first question from Colombo himself, Pedro Guimaraes, I just want to say, looking forward to seeing you in person in Lisbon, where you bring this this story to life. You're going to have to be careful on the timing when you do that. So you've just done 8.5 minutes of your 5 minutes today. So and in person, it's going to be like hard stop on those 5 minutes, right? Sure. But what an amazing moment. You're going to be there in Web Summit week, nice in person, real life type demo, and loads of people there at the Sitel office and up on the roof terrace looking out over the Tejo. So looking forward to that. Senor Colombo, what is your question?
Congratulations, great idea. What do you see as your biggest challenge now?
Because we're pivoting again. That's a big challenge. Stop pivoting and then just get it done. No, I mean, jokes aside, is actually getting people to, there's people like you, Pedro, they love the idea, but getting someone that loves the idea to sign up. It's the conversion rate for us is actually the challenge at the moment. So we keep increasing our early adopters or distribution list, but then getting people to sign up, create a profile, and to make May happy, put their photos up there, complete their profile, then to make the platform more appealing to newcomers. It's the biggest challenge now.
Yeah, I mean, building a market network, I mean, it's really one of the hardest things to do. And so, yeah, because we had started with this focus on founders, but we also believe that the people who are starting their businesses to begin with are people who are what is it? Yeah, they're just searching for more purpose and meaning in their lives. I think that's why we leave the corporate space. I think whether it's a middle life crisis, but whatever, you're seeing more and more people wanting to not work for other people and actually to create something. And I think that's what we're trying to tap into.
Nice one. I like the way you brought my midlife crisis into that. Now, I've just got a couple more minutes in this meeting room, so I'm going to ask Vivian for a question and then Jana to close us out. Or maybe Jana for a question and then Vivian closes out.
Okay.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So first of all, again, I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you so much, May, for telling us. My question is, how are you currently marketing this? And also demographically, where is your focus market?
Well, at the moment, we've been keeping a reasonably low profile. We've started talking about Beta 100 on social media. We're wanting to sort of position ourselves as more in the space of the future of work, where everyone is their own business. But going forward, we are starting to have conversations with accelerators and incubators and communities like Canopy, for example, where there are founders at the very early stage wanting to take their ideas and actually make something of them. So yeah, it's really forming those strategic partnerships to begin with, to scale.
And the market that you're currently focusing on, is it the European market?
Today, we actually focus on the founder side. It has to be UK-based companies for tax reasons and for equity management reasons. And the partners that we're talking to right now are based in the UK. But there's no impediment of any startup from Portugal or anywhere else in the world to join. But the way that we market is primarily to the UK market. And then for the beta side of things, they could come from anywhere in the world. And then it's almost like symbiotic that you get people joining from other places to join UK companies, right? Because they pay better. We as founders need a tight in budget, so we go outsource companies and software development companies that are not outside. So yeah.
Thank
we are
you.
open for partnerships in India, yes.
Come on, Vivian, bring us home. Last question, you have the honor.
I'll try and be really quick.
Short and sweet, just like me, okay?
Yeah, you talked about people that potentially might be having a midlife crisis, for example, looking for a different way of working and also the future of work. But have you thought about Gen Z and the TikTok generation, who are highly critical of the current infrastructures and the way we use economics and business? So have you thought about perhaps doing a small focus on sustainability, for example, or social action projects as very specific parts of your business? And also, remind me, I need to talk to you about narrative.
Yes, okay. No, that's absolutely fine, Vivian. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that, because we are having a conversation with Mike Morris about attracting the 16 to 24-year-olds through TikTok. It's slightly different marketing strategy and project, but we would see them folding into something like this. I mean, I guess, at the end of the day, it is trying different ways, different channels to see who the story resonates with the most, I think, in terms of finding product market fit.
And also with the partnerships, right? So we're in London and we just met a couple of companies that are targeting entrepreneurs being Gen Z and, Alpha. And that makes a lot of sense. But if I'm being completely blunt with you, that's not going to be market zero, right? That's not who we are targeting right now. It could be something that we think in a little bit, in a couple of months down the road, and then put a plan up there to kind of target them. But they are the way that alphas and Gen Z communicate, it's very different from the target companies and target audience that we are right now. So we would have to shift completely that, and we are not ready to do that right now. We're enough pivoting for so far, but we are open to discussion.
All right, and the crowd goes wild. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, everybody.